Is Donald Trump turning on his own son-in-law, Jared Kushner, as the White House turns?
Made some very big mistakes.
I asked for his resignation.
I'm disappointed in the Attorney General.
So Jared Kushner is one of his top advisors, and apparently Trump is beginning to turn on Kushner and his campaign manager, Brad Parscale, because turns out he's not doing well in polling, and he's blaming it on everyone surrounding him as opposed to blaming it on himself and his lack of competence, lack of leadership when it comes to, let's say, dealing with the pandemic, dealing with the division in this country, the protests over police brutality. He has just screwed everything up, but he wants to blame it on everyone else. And so, according to a former West Wing official who's aware of conversations that are happening within the Trump administration, Trump is malignantly crazy about the bad poll numbers. And one of the recent polls done by CNN indicates that Biden is leading by 14 points. And poll after poll just keeps indicating that that gap is widening. And so Trump is panicking. He's in complete panic mode. One Republican close to the campaign told Vanity Fair he's going to broom Kushner and Brad Parscale. The numbers are not getting better. Also, over the weekend, I love this so much. Over the weekend, Trump called around to New York friends and outside advisors in hopes they would validate Trump's belief that the polls are wrong. He's asking people to agree with him that the polls are biased, but no one's telling him what he wants to hear, said a Republican briefed on the calls. And also, there's this gross and awkward rivalry happening between Donald Trump and Jared Kushner. For instance, former West Wing officials recall how Trump hated when Kushner received too much positive press in January. Trump was rankled when Kushner's portrait graced the cover of Time. Also, one other source said, anytime Jared is in the papers, Trump complains, "We have to get Jared back to New York," said a Republican who heard Trump make the comment. In the end, the source cautioned that Trump won't push Kushner out. This is typical with him and Jared, the source said. No, this is amazing. He's currently in a self-made fortress surrounding the White House because he's afraid of the protesters. He's doing nothing other than sending his, press secretary out to try to clean up his messes for him. And he's sending out ridiculous tweets with unsubstantiated conspiracy theories and claims about people who have been victimized by police brutality, like a 75-year-old man, Martin Gugino. That's who Donald Trump is. He's just so pathetic. And I love every moment of these stories because it just reveals how weak he really is.
So it also gives you insight into why he's such a horrific manager and why he's gone bankrupt 6 times. So if you have a boss who is not open to new ideas, to critique, to changing, to adapting, that's already a disaster. If he's just looking for yes men, well, then you'll never learn and you'll never adapt. And if you don't learn and adapt in business, you're going to go bankrupt. And if you're running a country, over 100,000 people will die from coronavirus because he reacted poorly to the disease. You'll have civil unrest. You'll have over 20 million people unemployed, and the list goes on and on. But the second part of how bad a manager he is actually more devastating. He not only is not looking for competence, we've talked a lot about this before, he's looking for loyalty because, like mob bosses, loyalty matters more to him as a lifelong criminal than competence. But he actively pushes out competence because if anyone is competent and gets positive press, he goes, well, no, I don't want him then because he's outshining me. But wait a minute, your IQ is below 70. You barely have 2 brain cells to rub together. Everyone will outshine you if they're even barely competent. So, and that'll bother you. So you'll push out anyone who's remotely intelligent. That's why he's in a lifeboat with a bunch of dummies who are like, I don't know what right or left is, like Jared Kushner and Stephen Miller and these parade of idiots. And last thing about that, Now, why is Jared Kushner running everything? I know he's family, so he thinks he can trust them, et cetera. And then he gets mad. I don't want my son-in-law to be better than me. What a pathetic, sad little man. But I bring that up because I thought Ivanka was a smart one in the family. And I thought she was a proud, proud woman and standing up for women's rights. And why is she letting her husband run everything? Why is Ivanka not involved in any policy conversations, but it's her dolt of a husband who goes in and does all that stuff? And they don't believe in women's rights. They don't believe in anything.
Of course not.
Can I, one more thing about the polling? His favorite pollster is Rasmussen because they consistently get it wrong. They always favor Republicans, and then the elections show that they were off. They're one of the worst polling organizations, and that errors do not go in both directions. They always favor Republicans, right? It's just to make Republicans feel better before they lose. Even in the Rasmussen poll, Trump is now down by 11.
Thanks for watching The Young Turks. We really appreciate it. Another way to show support is through YouTube memberships. You'll get to interact with us more. There's live chat emojis, badges. You've got emojis of me, Anna, John, JR. So those are super fun. But you also get playback of our exclusive member-only shows and specials right after they air. So all of that, all you gotta do is click that join button right underneath the video. Thank you.